In December of 1900, a relief ship approached a small lighthouse on the edge of the Scottish Atlantic. The light wasn't on. That should have been impossible. Lighthouses don't go dark. That's the entire point of a lighthouse. When the crew landed, they found no bodies, no struggle, no note. Just 3 men gone. The Flannan Isles are a cluster of uninhabited rocks sitting about 20 miles west of the Outer Hebrides in Scotland. They don't have trees. They barely have soil. They have wind and water and the kind of silence that makes people uncomfortable. The lighthouse on Eilean Moor, the biggest of the islands, it was built specifically because this stretch of water was so dangerous. Ships were dying here regularly. 3 keepers were assigned to it at all times. None of them were ever seen again. On December 26th, the relief vessel Hesperus made its scheduled approach to Eilean Moor. The captain noticed something wrong before he even docked. When crew member Joseph Moore went ashore, he found the entrance gate open. The lighthouse door was also open. Inside, the clock had stopped. The fire was cold. A meal had been set but never eaten. There were no signs of panic, no overturned furniture, no blood. One of the 3 sets of oilskin coats was still hanging on its hook. Think about that. These men went outside into a Scottish winter storm, and one of them didn't take his waterproof coat. Nobody does that voluntarily. The house kept a detailed log, and the final entries are strange. December 13th. The storm continues. Never seen anything like it. December 15th. The last entry. It simply reads, storm ended, sea calm, God is over all. After that, nothing. The ship's log ends on December 15th. The Hesperus didn't arrive until the 26th. 11 days. No log entries. No light. No keepers. Here is where it gets complicated, because there are really only a handful of explanations, and every single one of them has a problem. Investigators found storm damage on the western cliffs. Equipment had been shifted. Iron railings were bent. This suggests an extraordinarily powerful wave hit the island sometime around December 15th. The theory is that 2 men went down to secure equipment, were swept off by a wave, and the 3rd man ran out to help, without his coat, in a panic. It fits most of the evidence: the missing coats, the damage, the timing. But here's the problem. On December 15th, the log says the sea was calm, a rogue wave in calm weather. Possible, but convenient. The Flannan Isles had a dark reputation. Local fishermen refused to spend the night there. Ancient Gaelic tradition held the islands as sacred, or cursed, depending on who you asked. Isolated men, brutal storms, strange folklore pressing in from every direction. What if one of them broke? It would explain the praying, the emotional log entries, but it doesn't explain, where are the bodies? Where is any evidence of struggle? This is the one people don't like to say out loud, that the actual explanation might be something we simply don't have a framework for. Not supernatural, not conspiracy, just an event type that leaves no evidence we know how to read. A shared episode of psychosis triggered by prolonged isolation and extreme weather. None of these are satisfying. That's the point. Here is what the official inquiry concluded. The men most likely went to secure equipment during a storm, were struck by an unexpected wave, and drowned. The Northern Lighthouse Board closed the case. The world moved on. And yet, no bodies were ever recovered. The meal on the table was never satisfactorily explained. Why would all three men abandon a meal they were in the middle of eating? And the tone of those final log entries, the fear, the prayer, the crying, something was coming, something they had no name for. The Flannan Isles lighthouse still operates today. Automated now, no human keeper required. Maybe that's the real conclusion the authorities reached. Three men who went to work one winter, on a rock at the edge of the world, and simply ceased to exist. Some mysteries don't get solved, they just get old.